now for rescue and recovery efforts on Maui. It is a desperate race for time. With an estimated 1,000 people still missing, rescuers are getting a boost from a group of veterans who flew in just yesterday and already have conducted 3 rescues and have more planned before the day is over. Bryan Stern is founder and CEO of Project DYNAMO and is Operation Ohana Safe, and he joins me now live from Maui. You just got there. Tell me what it looks like to you. What's the scene?
Well, you know, with these, we have a lot of experience with these kinds of things. What you see is the worst of the worst, and also the best of the best. You see people coming together that are united in catastrophe, which is very sad. The devastation is apocalyptic. That's the word that a lot of people are using, and I think it's appropriate. I just came back from doing a humanitarian drop by helicopter up on the other side. And it truly is. It's a ghost town. It looks like a nuclear bomb went off, where there's everything's burnt and it's just ashy structure piles where structures used to be. So it is pretty terrible.
How are you conducting these rescue missions? I know you have some helicopters, so you're able to fly, thank goodness, because that's tough terrain and many roads are still closed. How are you finding people that need help?
There's no shortage of people that need help. Number one, people are registering on our database, projectdynamo.org. That's also where people can go to donate. These helicopters do not fly themselves. They cost money. The gas costs money. The brave pilots cost money. So people are registering on our website and donating on our website. We need public support, but also where we're landing, people know to kind of go there to these different rally points that are stuck. There's no food. There's no water. There's no power. There's no internet. There's no communications in a large part of the area, so they're kind of marshaling together, and then we're making runs back and forth from one side to the island to the other.
Yeah, it's important to note people who actually need your help aren't going to be able to register for your help, but others who
Correct.
know where they are, or this is where my family lives, can go onto your website from another location, another island, even from mainland, to tell you where to go and register that information. Okay, so tell me about some of the rescues you've managed to accomplish today. What were they?
We just got done doing a pretty sizable humanitarian drop, which is actually what this is becoming, which is turning into very quickly a humanitarian crisis, not so much as a rescue effort. People still need to get out, but a lot of people have gotten out by one way or the other. The rescues have been gut-wrenching, honestly. All the stories are terrible. That's what happens with these things. You hear stories about people who lost everything, down to other than the clothes on their back. So the stories are really bad. And on the humanitarian side, fuel is at a premium. Water is at a premium. Feminine hygiene products, which we just did a helicopter load of, are at a premium. Baby food, baby diapers, all those things. Subsistence things. They're going to run out of food probably tonight, if I had to guess. So we're making milk runs up and down the other side of the island to try and drop off food also.
We just heard in Evan Lambert's package there, one woman, a resident there, talking about how they had found victims of the fire who were huddled together in their home that had burned down. And that there are reports there was no alert, no siren that went out to alert people that the fire was moving that quickly. Are you seeing, is what you're seeing reflecting that kind of catastrophic but also sudden, fast-moving fire?
Yeah, I mean, the winds, you know, fire plus oxygen equals more fire. So what happened is that the fire started and there were high winds and it lit on both sides, leaving everyone trapped. That's why you hear these stories about people jumping into the water. There was nowhere else to go. They were trapped. So I fully expect the body count to be in the triple digits. I think that is extremely reasonable. Even high triple digits, I think, would not be surprising, frankly, because there's a lot of people, thousands of people are talking about how they're missing thousands of their friends. So I think it would not be surprising to me if that were the case, although communications are down. So it could be that they're okay and we just don't know it. That could be, but we have to hope and pray for that one.
Bryan Stern, founder and CEO of Project DYNAMO. You can go online if you know of somebody in Hawaii who may need help. You can direct him there. You can also support that organization and the great work they're doing helping folks in Hawaii. Bryan, good to talk to you tonight. Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Please donate. ProjectDynamo.org. We need your help. It's really bad. We need help.
Thanks, Bryan. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.